Well, look, post-playing career, and it's very cool that you touched them all when the Houston Oilers, the Tennessee Oilers, the Tennessee Titans, and
Hmm.
you know, until the very, very end, you did spend, you know, 99% of your career in one place, which is very rare these days. It doesn't happen very often
Yeah.
anymore. And they retire your number, and then you decide to make some pivots. You made multiple pivots, but one
Hmm.
kind of a little earlier on, there were some seeds planted. Should we talk about you were on an episode of Coach in
Oh yeah.
1989? What how did this come about? How did you get into the acting world?
Well, they asked me to do a cameo on Coach, and that's kind of how I fell into that. And then there were more opportunities after that. And then when my playing days were done, there were some auditions that I went on, and I sucked. It was terrible. I couldn't get a job. So I said, okay, if it's acting that I'm going to get into, then I need to learn how
Mhm.
to act. And really, acting helped me because a lot of different ways. Um, because I was able to take how I was feeling at that particular time and express that through writing, through emotion, because I struggled with how my career ended. You know, it happened a lot faster than I thought, and it happened in a way that was very abrupt. And um, I wanted that day where I could have a press conference and say I'm leaving and all. Nah, it wasn't that at all. It was I'm sitting at my kitchen table hoping my phone rings for another opportunity, only to realize that that wasn't going to happen. And if it did happen, it wasn't going to feel the same. I walked through my time, and now I was on the back end of my career, and I was just holding off the inevitable. And I could have gone to another team and stole a couple of years, but that would have been years stolen away from my family, away from my health, away from being productive. So getting into the arts helped my life in a way of saying I can do something constructive and I can transform within and be a storyteller, communicator, but also it was cathartic. It was healing for me to go through that and to address a lot of issues and demons that I didn't realize were holding me back. And I had to go to therapy with it. So it was a wonderful time in my life. So it allowed me to go into other forms of acting on stage, on film, and it was a wonderful thing. And when I look back on those times, it prepared me for to be a head coach because one, it trains you to listen. And as a head coach, as a leader, the best leaders listen. They listen first, and then they they're wanting to be understood later. And so as I'm listening to players, I'm gathering information, and it's okay. How do I look from his perspective? How do I see life from his perspective, and have appreciation for that, and empathy for that, and compassion for that? So it changes the way that I look at somebody. If I get to know somebody and connect with them and build a relationship with the player, and I understand where these outbursts of anger may be coming from, you'll frame it a little bit differently and understand that it's not necessarily about getting them to do what I want them to do, how I want them to do it, but more or less, how can I inspire them to be their best selves and really tap into the character, to the soul of this human being that can shape and have influence and impact on versus just scoring touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So, um, that was a huge, huge lesson for me. And I thought that, Preach, I wanted to go on and be the first man to have a he got, man. A Heisman, an Emmy, a Grammy, Oscar, and a Tony. I was thinking
Go.
that was the next thing. I was doing stuff with The Rock, and all of a sudden I'm sitting here coaching, So God has a way of putting you in position in a place where you need to be. And He's going to take you through various seasons and different situations to prepare you for those moments. So So yeah, that was my acting career.
So cool,
That's good
man.
stuff.
Broadway too. Broadway vet,
Yeah,
man.
good
This guy
stuff.
can do it all.
Good
It's
stuff. Oh,
crazy. I
yeah.
love it. And I'm going to shout out Scott Ackerman and Comedy Bang Bang. Very cool that you did that, man.
Comedy
Yeah.
Bang Bang, yes.
I come from the comedy world, so when I saw Eddie
Yes.
George at the time, I'm like, Eddie George on Comedy Bang Bang, let's go.
Comedy Bang Bang. Yes,
Very
sir.
cool. Very cool. Well, you wanna talk some coaching with him? You wanna
Yes,
get in the weeds here?
Yeah. So the thing is, with your coach George, is that some of the things that I'm wondering, going from a player and sitting in those locker rooms and sitting in those team meeting rooms, and now you're on the different side of the chair or the coin. Now you're the head coach. What is that? What is that like in terms of just knowing you have that responsibility?
Yeah.
And the responsibility isn't like when I would sign up to do some coaching and stuff like that, I would do an all-star game. So I might be there for about a week, right? It may be I'm doing some off-season training with some of the students as well. But you're committed on another level. I mean, it's day in, day out as a head coach. And so
Yeah.
what is that like now, being from a player, now head coach, and how instrumental do you think that is in terms of like working with those young men?
Yeah, man. Great question. And it's like, having played the game, Priest, you see firsthand what the coaches go through. You see your position coach going through it, head coach, long hours, long days, a lot of preparation, and not a lot of control, in terms of the outcome. And that's something that I didn't want any parts of once I left the game. But again, I evolved into that. Now, sitting on this side, man, a couple of things come up. Is that you're going to wear various hats throughout the day. The moment you walk into the facility, you think you have plans on doing certain things, but it gets derailed quickly because I'm of service to the players. I'm of service to the staff. I'm here to solve problems, to nurture, to discipline, to listen, to mitigate certain issues, and it's daunting, but also it's gratifying. You'll find that if you really take it seriously, and not I'm not here for the paycheck. I'm not here to go to a Power 5, and of course I want to have aspirations of going to the highest level, but it's about stewardship. You talked about that, being responsible for people, for lives, for seeds, for have true impact, good or bad, on this individual in terms of where they're going to go. So in order for me to be my best self, in order for me to give them the best, I've got to live the creed.
Yes.
Daily. It ain't, hey, do as I say. It's watch me do it.
Exactly.
When we're going through a bad spell and we're not having success, we're having the poor outcomes. I don't say, hey, you do X, Y, Z. I say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And if you have any issues or any problems, you don't know what to do or where to look to, watch me. Watch my coaching staff. Watch how we respond. Because this whole thing is about responding to adversity for me. So that's very important. When you're about this life, you're fully immersed, seen and unseen. And you players can recognize when somebody's going through the motions, and they can recognize when somebody's really, truly living the life. And that's what I choose to do. And I'm not perfect. I'm still growing. I'm still doing all those things. But this has been the most gratifying thing that I've done in my life, because I have to live it, I have to breathe, and I have to trust in a much higher power to guide me through all of this. And it's been wonderful to see God's work being done, through me, through our staff, and how it's impacting these kids.
Yeah. So now being the head coach, Coach George, I always wondered, we always wondered, Mark and I was talking about this when we have coaches that come in there at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and they're on the treadmill. Yeah. Now that you're a coach, why do coaches go in there so early to jump on the treadmill?
Why are you sleeping in your office all the time? What's going on, man?
Well, I don't. That's not what I'm doing. I like to be efficient with my time.
That's right.
If we're not getting our work done between the hours of 7 to 4 o'clock, then, it's effective. I believe you got to get your rest. You definitely have to do that. But you're on the treadmill every morning because you got to get that work in. You
Yes.
got to get your workout in. It's so important for me to get my routine and my workout in before the day starts, because it sets the tone for everything. Again, I'm not going to tell my players to sacrifice their sleep or their eating habits to live the great habits if I'm not willing to do it. So it's important for me to have a routine that, hey, these are the things that I'm doing. I know what you're going through because I'm living it too. We're all in this together. It's a shared suffering. So I know exactly where you are. And therefore I can teach and preach and help kids through those tough moments.
Now, one more. Before Mark gets started, he's got probably some final questions for you, Coach George. But I have one more. And I was thinking back when I was on the sideline once, I had a coach that broke a clipboard. So I know y'all probably don't have clipboards anymore. Now they're like iPads. But in terms of just being a coach, man, and just being overwhelmed with the excitement or even maybe the frustration, man, what do you think as a head coach might have been something similar to you might have experienced? Like with me, I had a coach break a clipboard. What's going on? Is there anything? Did you break a table? What's going on?
No, it's my headset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Headset.
You threw it?
I'll slam my headsets down, man. And that can be for a myriad of reasons. I try to be in control, but it gets to a point where I've seen enough of something, and and now it's like, okay, they got to see another side of me, and that's okay. You know what I mean? I got to go there, and so the throwing of the headsets is definitely something I have to be mindful of.
Yeah, they got to keep some on stock over there.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get that into the Olympics here. We'll get that into the Summer Olympics, yeah? We'll get the headset toss in there. Nice. All right, I want to ask you what your favorite memory is from playing the sport. It could be anything, whether it was an important play that you were successful at, or a moment in the locker room, or maybe just a relationship with a particular coach or teammate or something. But what's your all-time favorite memory, or what's the first thing that comes right into your brain when you think about playing?
It's been a lot. I would say, God, man, it's been so many great moments. Like when we played Penn State in 1995, my senior year at Penn State. The year prior to that, we got smoked 63-14.
Wow.
And we took that loss to heart, and then we went in there on the road yet again in Happy Valley, in a hostile environment, and found a way to win the game in the end. And the locker room, the joy in that locker room afterwards, man, it was on fire. Coaches couldn't really say anything. We just went there. It was a celebration, screaming, joy. It was a great moment. I would say the moment that when we won the AFC Championship, beat Jacksonville for a third time in the calendar year. That team only had 3 losses, and all 3 of them were to us, the Tennessee Titans.
Wow, clean
and
sweep.
To beat them on their home field and on the bus ride home, going to the stadium, and to sit next to Bruce Matthews, who at the time was in his 20th year, and hear him say, "Man, I finally am playing for a Super Bowl after so many years of his Hall of Fame career," was satisfying. So I would say those 2 moments definitely stick out at the top.
Very cool. Bruce Matthews, brother Clay Matthews, right. That family, big time football family there too.
Yes.
Those are great memories, man.
Breaking news from Bet365. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Sign up, place a bet for $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, player props, futures, and so much more.
Hey, do you have a gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only, 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, and select parishes in Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
This has been a Playmaker production.